So, Mikey was talking about like the fact that like when it's been hard, you notice like drinking like increasing. Like, yeah, just tell us more about that. Like,
yeah, no, that's cool. So like everybody knows my drink is this. Give me that some ice, good. Like I'll have it straight, or I'll mix it with a bit of coke.
Bartender.
Hey, like, yo.
send my drink, yes or no.
What I realized, like,
Drink coming on what, man?
I'd buy a buckle and put it in the house. Like, my drink, why not? Because I said to myself, yeah, I'll have a sip maybe on a weekend or whatever. But I realized that, quickly, things start moving sideways because I'm linking up my other friends and having a drink with them. I probably have like a Magnum or a couple of Magnums. And then I go home, but because it's a weekend or something, I'll just carry on because I'm at home. If I get a bit tipsy, I'm cool. Like I'm at home, I'm watching TV. So I use that in my head as an excuse. But that was the wrong thing to do because the weekend left. Well, things move from the weekend to during the week. So because I can see it's in my eye line there. I'm like, just finish a meeting or whatever, a bit stressed. So let me just take a little sip. And I'm like, Tutu's big bottle, like it's just going down and down and down. I'm like, nah, this don't look good. And go buy the next one and put it there. Or I'll probably have a one left over from when me and my next bridging them used to drink out of this. I take it home and just leave it there. I remember this one time I had it next to the like the coffee jug thing. And I said, yo, in my head, I'm this is in the week, you know, I'm like, I wonder how this would taste if I mix it with coffee. So I made my coffee, and then I go like that, and put it in there, and I caught myself.
Did it taste good?
It tastes good, but I caught myself. I says, what are you doing, yo? Like, if you now left from just drinking on a weekend to now drinking during the week, and now my favourite drink like during the week is coffee. I said that to you.
Yeah.
To now putting it in there, what I'm doing then, I'm just increasing the amount of times I'm drinking. So I went to the sink and I poured it out.
Sick.
And I said to myself, yo, nah, I'm not buying nothing.
No, that's big.
I'm not putting it. And another example is that I went to London with my wife some time ago and got introduced to this whole gin and lemonade business. So came back, a couple of bottles of gin and a week and it was done. We started to like buy lemonade like more than we did before. I'm like, yo, this ain't good. Bottles was going, and then we're going to buy a next one. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. So I've just stopped.
Examine
like,
yourself.
During the week, nah, I'm literally stopping it. When my dad moved down from London, he came down with a load of drink. And I still got them in the house because I don't even know what they are. I don't even bother with it. But if I know that if I buy the drinks that I like and I can see in my eye line because I work in the kitchen sometimes, I'm just gonna have a drink because I'm gonna say, oh, it's just like I'm at home.
Has anyone respect for that? Like, has anyone else like acknowledged a time where like they definitely was struggling with their mental health or just struggling in life? Anyone want to share? I know for you, I don't know if you want to share that, Nathan, but I know like. When you was away, it was that this year, and you had your moment where it's like everything that you was going through actually like hit you at once.
Yeah, so for me, that was the time where I was away in Dubai. I had been gone away for about 3 weeks. I probably had about 1 more week left. But the week before I went to Dubai, my nan passed away. Like suddenly, gone. And it was like, okay, cool. But I think because I was in that momentum and in that flow, it was like, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Because I was in that mode, work mode. Yeah, we're in that season.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. I love my nan and all that stuff. I'm probably not going to make the funeral, but it's what it is. So, boom, went out there, doing what I'm doing out there, business, whatever it is, 3 weeks in. At that point, my father-in-law's sick. And before I actually left, I went to see him. He called me. He said, come to London. That time my wife was up there. He said, you know what, I need to see you. He's asking for me. So I got the kids right, threw him in the car, flew to London. sat down, talked with him, sharing, just about could talk, but his words was like, you got to go. Like, he's the one that released me and said, go to Dubai. And his last words when he was, someone's got to make it. That was his last words. So that's what took me over there. And while I was out there, he passed away, unfortunately. That broke me because I'm 3,000 miles away. My wife's here. Her dad's gone. She's with the children. I'm over there. And I'm stuck. Like, literally, there's no flights. I'm in a red country. I'm trying to get back into the country. And it hit me, like, literally. Like, you've covered over your suffering and your hurt, your pain. You've covered it over.
I got the text.
Yeah, you covered it over.
Mrs. text me.
You covered it over, and I was on the phone to Danielle, and I broke down. I was like, I need to come home. Like, I was literally caged. I was caged, but I didn't know I was caged until that moment happened. And it's like, I can't get out of here. Can't move physically, and I broke down. I was like, I gotta come home. I'm not coping. I'm not doing very well. Like, I had to tell her I'm not coping, and I didn't want to tell her because
she was going through what
she's going through some stuff, and that's not my typical procedure. When I'm going through stuff as a man, I don't offload to my wife stuff that's heavy. I'm coming to the brothers and saying, yo. But it's just in the moment when I was on the phone to her, I broke down, and she must have called Nathan or messaged Nathan, and then I got a call from you, I got a call from Elder Ben, like just getting all these calls. But it was like, because I'm so practical and we're so solution focused, I'm trying to fix this. I need to fix it. I need to fix it. And Dad's not here. I need to fix it. And when you can't fix something as a man, it messes you up. It actually messes you up internally. So I had to unplug.
What's funny about that, if I interject in that story, is I came here before Nathan flew. And I was saying, I came to check him, and I said, fam, I've heard that your nan has passed, and I'm hearing that Dan's dad is not looking good. Are you sure that this is the right decision to go to Dubai? I put it on him, and Nathan was in the zone. He was like, force field, I need to step in that in faith. And I think it's interesting when you unpack it and you look back, is that's why I think brotherhood's important. Is that accountability and making ourselves vulnerable enough with each other. If we're saying we're a network or a brotherhood, to say that, you know what, I give you permission to G-check me on certain things if you see something, because and I think we have to, even like as we're going to a new year, if we want to go to another level, it's got to be that level of accountability, because where we check in and it says, you know what, guys, this is what I'm working on. If anything, I want you to pray around it, or what does God say to you about it? You know what I'm trying to say? Because some of us might have a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that.
I'll be real with you. Even after that, when we came back, when I came back from Dubai, and we had the funeral, like I was just getting licked. I was getting challenges. Like, I ended up in court twice in that same period for like parking ticket or something, which was probably like 2 years ago. And someone crashed into my car, and I had to go court for it. Like, the day of, this is how deep it is, guys. The day of the viewing of my father-in-law's body, I was in court in the morning. I was in court, and it got thrown out. Just got thrown out, not guilty for this parking ticket. And we'd already talked to me and Danielle, and was like, we're probably not going to make the viewing, but we're cool. But as we're driving to London and getting closer, it's like, we can make it, you know, we can make it. I started flying up there, and I was like, we can make it. We got there 15 minutes before the place closed. And Danielle went in there and saw her dad for the last time. We both got in there, and we saw him. Buffett broke her. So in the midst of that, day after is the funeral. So now we're doing the funeral. That's all done, and we've come back here. As we've come back here, we didn't know that we're grieving. We didn't know. So in our heads, we're like, because we're grieving, we have to medicate it.
Yeah.
Not with alcohol or drink, but we're going to medicate it. Yeah, we can leave the country. So we're thinking about leaving the country. Like just getting up, jumping up, packing up everything. We're gone.
Yeah.
Literally. That's where we were. But we said, no, we're not going to do it. We prayed. Prayed. They said, we can't do that.
Wow.
We're grieving. We recognize it. Cannot make rash decisions on temporary emotion and feeling. That was ringing, that principle was ringing, and we held back. And we're still here. And we've had some great successes since. But we've seen if we would have went there,
That's some serious
it
challenges.
would have been like crazy for us.
Because you're in a different mental space.
You're in a different, and you don't know. You don't
think
know
you're
in
good.
that space. You think you're good, but you're not good. It's not until
You
someone
always think you're good at it. But
checks you and really checks you and don't like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Like when a man then roll upon you and knock your door and say, yo, what's going on? You're like,
It's that
it's
confidence,
different.
man.
That accountability is different. Like you can't shake out of that.
Yeah.
So you need that network of brothers to come around you and check you.
I think for me that's so deep. I think one of the things I've like, what was my motto before Christianity was like, keep it real. On my car before, on the bottom of the number plate it says keeping it real. It's real. Like being real has always been a thing. But one of the things that I think I've struggled with lately is the struggle of success.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because now you are elevating, and I think what can happen now is that I heard a word about, checking in on your strong friends, and I think that's sometimes frustrating because people think, you're doing these things, so no one don't check in unless people discern it in the spirit and say, I'm phoning you, what's going on? Like I do get those calls, a man around this table do those calls, and it's a hard place, you know what I'm trying to say, because when you're in leadership, it's lonely, you know what I'm saying, like you're going through things and you're like, you gotta hold this, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, you feel things hitting you, and I think like the other day for the first time, and it was mad, because I went IKEA with Sabrina to have some lunch, and I was like, I needed to tell her that, yo, I'm not where I need to be, I feel, you know what I'm trying to say, and I couldn't tell her, and I was like, that's weird, like I normally can tell her, but anyway, we found a moment and I told her, and trying to say like, yo, I'm struggling, and I just offloaded everything that's going on, blah blah, where my head's at. I'm saying, yo, I'm not sharp. Like the certain principles I do within the business. So like I write a lot of bids and stuff like that, and I'm not getting no flows. Like I can't, like I'm actually not doing my work. I'll be honest. Like I'm not there's certain things I'm not actually doing. She said, that's cool. I got you. And it's like I know that I kind of switched off this year from like November, like I'm already in Christmas mode like 3 weeks ago. I'm just doing the bare minimum because I'm tired now. And it's like it's about resting, is that making sense, and just find that time. What about you, James? How do you deal with like mental health and struggle?
How do I deal with it? Kind of follow on from what these two, Nathan and Michael. As you were both talking, I think to myself, especially kind of linked to drink as well. One of my lowest points, and I think I spoke about it in church one time, is a bit of context. Dating this girl a couple of years, about 10 years ago now. And then, I didn't know she was already engaged to somebody else at the same time. That's me, who's Mr. Logical, who knows everything, all the details and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, long story short, broke up, and a week later, she got married.
Wow.
So, don't forget at this time, this isn't, I don't think I was in church fully, so this is not Brother James, this is no this is James Stella Artois Beckford. So at that point, that was like a low point for me, because obviously, and that's the first time I experienced heartbreak. I had brethren back in the day, I had a heartbreak, and they were moping, and I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, you get love again, what's going on? But if you've ever experienced heartbreak, you know what I mean, like it's devastating. And then similar to what Mikey was saying, I did with my nan at the time, I just started drinking a lot. And then at the shop, they had this thing, we get 3 bottles of wine for £10. You know what I mean? And then before you know it, I remember one time I was cleaning out the room. I kid you not, there must have been about 12 bottles of wine. And I was drinking. And it's what Nathan was saying, it's like you're in a place, or you're moving in life, and then you don't even realise that you're
In trauma, in pain.
you're in pain, you're depressed, or whatever it is, and you don't even know it. You know what I mean? So for me, that was devastating for me, man. And the drink was on a different level. I mean, it affected me in terms of, I remember at one point my manager at work had to speak to me, because we used to work in Birmingham City Centre. So the customers after work, you go for a little drink or go out. But then obviously I was drinking more, sometimes wouldn't even make it home. Do you know what I mean? So I was going through, like, I was just low. Do you know what I mean? Obviously at the same time, you're angry with God and stuff is all. Oh no, I'm like, are you up there watching me going through all this stuff? You can see it going on, you couldn't even let me know what I want. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I feel like he's up there just laughing at me, watching some popcorn. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like, do you know what I mean? But that was where I was at that time in terms of aloneness, and the depression and the slow. And again, didn't even realise it's only years later. Because back then, like 10, 12 years ago, we weren't really speaking about mental health and all this kind of thing. It's big now, do you know what I mean? And National Men's Day. But back then, you weren't really speaking about that. It's kind of like, especially as black people, we have this mentality, even go back to slavery, where you're in slavery, you come out of slavery, you get on with it. You got trauma, and it doesn't matter, you get on with it. And I think we, especially I have it as well, where you kind of have this mentality like yourself, solution focused, get on with it. I'm hurting, but get on with it. So-and-so's passed away, but get on with it. This is going on, but get on. I'm dying on the inside, but get on with it. Come on, keep going. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. I think, like, if I can come in, like, there and just kind of add, because I think, for me, I see it as an elephant in the room.
A big one.
I feel like
Huge.
men generally don't get enough praise, and I think society is not set up like that for men to get praise. It's more of kind of a beat down for men, and I know, like, you know, especially like in the last couple of years, it seems to be things are swinging towards like women rights and all of that, which is fine, and I understand that, but like, men are not getting any mention. So even if it, you know, a woman will go out there, put some clothes on, and, you know, men are looking at them and say, oh, you look nice, or your nails, or your hair, or whatever. But men don't get that stuff. Like, unless your brother is saying like, yo, your trainers is hard, or whatever it is. It's like sometimes you're doing these things and you're not getting any upliftment, and that has a natural impact on kind of your day to day, your general life. So I just wanted to kind of say, like, yo, listen, it is real, and even if nobody says to you like, yo, you're doing well, you're doing good, say it to yourself. Like, I realise I have to say it to myself because I don't hear it enough.
Speak to you, encourage yourself.
Do you get me? If I wake up in the morning and I feel shit, I'm like, you know what, yo, you're doing it. Like, take a look at your life now. You're doing it, like, because you're in that 24 hours. You're not guaranteed anybody's gonna come to you and say, yo, James. Top that you got on is crazy. You know, we don't do nails and stuff, but, you know, like, your haircut sharp, who's your barber? You ain't gonna hear that stuff. And then you're supposed to then tackle it the next day when you've got issues like in your relationship, you've got issues in your family, people are passing away, and you're tackling that. It's like people expect men especially to just get on with it.
And what I love about what you're just saying is, and this is what I want to go to as we wrap up this session, this part of the topic, is around the solutions. So there's some clear things I'm hearing you say, Mikey, is about knowing how to encourage yourself, knowing how to celebrate yourself, and knowing how to actually, like, you know, say well done and be proud of yourself. I think that's important. I'm going to say a few solutions, but I want Nathan and James as well, as we wrap up, is it is 2 or 3 key, especially for men who may listen to this, who are struggling with their mental health or they're struggling in life. What would be your top 3 things that you would say to do? For me, my top 3 things would probably, number 1 is to acknowledge that you are going through something and be honest with yourself. Number 2 is seek support. So once you've acknowledged that you actually need help, seek support. So that support, if like in an ideal world, we would be finding someone else to talk to. But if you can't, like, go online, there's resources, like help, mental health videos, something like that. And then like three, if there's a third thing, I think would be I don't know, speak out, like keep speaking about it. Like, I can't emphasize the importance of talking therapy, what they call professional talking therapy, like this, talking with one another. And I think we have to cultivate it. I think we have to be intentional. I think we, even as brothers, need to make sure that we check in with each other at a deeper level, and make sure that we search our heart, that we're not in competition with each other, in competitiveness, but actually it's out of love, care and concern, so that we can help each other and serve each other at a greater level. So make sure that, like, for me, like, not on my watching it. Like, if we're saying we're part of a brotherhood, like, I am my brother's keeper, as you know, say, and I believe in that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my thing. Anything that Nathan or anyone else want to just top two, or even if it's not free, you got just do number one thing for that someone that might be listening.
As you just talking, the thing that's come to me was stop, drop and roll. First of all, stop. Take time out. I heard it all today. I was saying found myself in a situation, I didn't even realise it because I was so busy. This week my nan's passed away, and the first thing I did was went back to work. My manager's saying, James, take time off. I'm like, now I gotta hit my target, end of the month, gotta hit this target. You wanna keep going and keep going. As I said, just get on with it. Stop and take time out, wherever it looks like. Drop. I don't sound over spiritual, but we do need God. So drop to your knees in prayer. If you can't pray, cry. Tears are a language that God understands. If you can't, you have to be no fancy prayer. Where is our Father that lives in the higher echelons? Peter was praying. All Peter said was Jesus. That's it. That's what you need to call his name. But I'm being for real. Because at the end of the day, we are body, soul, and spirit. And sometimes you're broken, and your spirit's broken, within your soul's broken. So if I'm hungry, I'm physically hungry, or I'm thirsty rather. If you give me food, I need water. I'm thirsty. I don't need physical food. I want thirst. So understand and try to identify once you've stopped what's hurting and where the pain is. Same like a doctor, get the diagnosis so you can address it properly. And then roll, as Nathan was saying, roll with the mandem. Whether it's rolling, literally going to meet someone on the phone. And I'm guilty of this. I try to roll on my own. You know what I mean? Just sort it out by myself. But again, as you said, in the multitude of counsellors, there is peace. Don't do it by yourself where possible. Do you know what I mean? So that's something I've got to work on.
Wow.
I think that's a drop mic moment.
100%. That was.
Yeah, that's practical. Stop, drop, and roll. People will remember that. I think one thing that I would say is stop trying to live up to other people's expectation of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, stop it.
Break that down some more. Like, what does that mean? How can men have expectations that they're trying to live up to? Like,
the first thing is you need to understand who are you. That's the first ultimate. Who are you? What is it about you that people like? And how do you impact people? Understand those things. The expectation part is trying to live up to people's opinion of you, what they suggest, their vision of you. Understand, that you are the dominant force in your life. When you change, everything has to change. It has to. So we've got to stop it. And the reason why I say that is social media. It's terrible. It's killing people out there.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I'm one thing on here, and then another thing behind here. You're trying to hold this up all day. Take the mask off. This image here, it ain't gonna last. It's not sustainable, and it's killing people. Like, we need to strip that down and just be confident in who you are
in the real world. Live in the real world.
Like, live in it.
Yeah, man.
Like, I get it. We got NFTs. You know, we got all these digital worlds happening, and virtual reality and AI. We got all of that, but that's not sustainable. So stop living up to.
This is what's real.
Yeah, this is the reality. This is the behind the scenes stuff. Like, and we need to do more behind the scenes stuff. Like, this has to come to the forefront.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to live the external life and live the internal life.
The invested man. The invested man.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to just, from your perspective, just say?
No, not really. I think we've all kind of touched on different points. I'll probably close off this session just by saying it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, man, come on.
Yeah.
Which generally is okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
This is a mic. I just go. There's a mic here. So I'm gonna drop it.
Sometimes like we beat ourselves up, like especially as men, because you know things are not going the way we expect you know things to happen in life. But it's okay. Like literally, if you kind of summarize like those of the things that you said, if you recognized it, it's not going okay. It's fine. Take on what like James did. Stop, drop, roll. Like just do it.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Excellent.